accountability. We have felt it on our own skin, whether that trauma was passed down to us by our orphaned grandmothers, or whether our families and compatriots continue today to suffer persecution and genocide in the Middle East. But we are here not just to remember. We are here to reclaim justice. We will not be silenced by a pro-Turkish lobby which has paid millions of dollars per year to influence U.S. policy, imposing a gag rule on American principles of justice and buying the world's inaction. We will not be silenced by those who value Turkey as a so-called strategic ally, untouchable despite its crimes. We will not be silenced by a Turkish dictator who enjoys the favor and hospitality of our U.S. government while he dares to order his thugs to attack peaceful protesters on American soil. We will not be silenced by those like the Americana brand in Glendale, who perpetuate genocide denial by blocking ads for films such as the upcoming Architects of Denial as being quote-unquote too political. In our unity, we stand strong against our common enemies. We stand in solidarity with you, not as victims, but as survivors and descendants of ancient peoples who have withstood centuries of persecution and attempts to annihilate us. As an ancient Navajo proverb proclaims, they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. Over 100 years later, those seeds remain firmly planted and continue to thrive. We thank the Assyrian American community for standing with us in our ongoing march for justice, and we in the Armenian American community, and particularly the ANCA Western region, whose leadership joins you today, as we remember the hundreds of thousands of Assyrians, Greeks, and Armenians, and other victims of genocide. And we stand shoulder to shoulder with you to reclaim justice for us all. Thank you.
So with no further ado, we're going to take a few of the speakers a little out of order, but it is my distinct pleasure to welcome the Honorable Eric Garcetti to the stage. He serves as the 42nd mayor of your great city and my great city, and I have to tell you, I'm a big fan. These are the elected officials I work for in Sacramento.
Thank you, Christina, and a very good evening to everybody. A good evening to a city of angels as the sun sets today, as we feel the warmth of this city around us, as we feel on our right and our left and in front of us and behind us the strength of this community. A community I'm so proud to represent here in Los Angeles. I just came from the Memorial Coliseum, a venue that was built to remember the victims in Los Angeles of World War I. Soldiers who had fought in the First World War. We did not know at the time there would be a second one. It was only called the Great War. And so Memorial Coliseum was built for them. We were welcoming the Police and Fire World Games in a place where the 1932 Olympics were held, the 1984 Olympics were held, and where the 2028 Olympics, I should say, are also coming back home. But you can't but help feel a little bit of history. That in the years that that place has been there, what we've seen and what we've lost. We are here tonight as the living, by definition. Those of us, full of the life that we breathe and the testimony to those who would have kept us away from here. Nora's eloquent words resonate with me so much because I was raised here in the San Fernando Valley with the word genocide heavy in my family too. I'm your average Mexican-American, Jewish-Italian politician, but joking aside, my father's side from Mexico, I'm here because my great-grandmother fled war when her husband, my great-grandfather, was killed in the Mexican Revolution. My mother's family was Jewish. They fled the massacres in the Russian Empire. in the early part of the 20th century and found a life here in Los Angeles. They were the brave ones. Like you, I have too many family members to name or to even know that were lost under the banner of supremacy, of one group, one race, one nationality who would seek to snuff out who we are. The Assyrian community is perhaps one of the very oldest in the world. The symbol right here is one of the most ancient, not just for the Assyrian community, but for the human family. It's where one of the great places where civilization first started, where we came off of the chaos that preceded, or the farms, or the things that didn't allow us to begin to find culture and language, to build cities. Yes, and empires came and went, and the Assyrian people became one of the earliest Christian, if not the earliest Christian communities. I know the Armenians and the Assyrians might fight it out. Let's say it's a tie tonight, okay? But in that moment, in accepting what God moved this community to believe in and to be, the contribution not just to the region in the Middle East that the Assyrians made, but to the world was made manifest. I think for all of us, these moments, as Nora said, is so right. We don't want more words. But as Councilmember Paul Krikorian, who we are so proud has led as the first Armenian American on the City Council, the words of standing up against the genocide every single year on our City Council, we do have to answer words with words sometimes. Because the lies that are put out must be answered with truth. Every single time a lie, that wasn't a genocide, we have to say, yes, it was. Or if that didn't happen, we say, yes, it did. We all know Elie Wiesel, who once said, the second death is to forget those that have died. We will not allow that to happen. We will not allow them to be killed twice. In 1914 in Van, when the massacres started of the Assyrians, part of the Ottoman supremacist philosophy, part of the world politics, sound familiar, that they were swept up in between Germany and Russia going at each other. The victims weren't just an ethnic group. They were human beings with families and stories like us. People who smiled at their children in the mornings, who played with their grandchildren, whose life was full of expressing music, theater, reading literature, cooking a good meal. These were human lives and human stories that they attempted to snuff out. And when we saw the massacres continue, I think in Assyrian you call it Sefo, the sword that came. It moved from village to village. Diyarbakir, Harput. And then, of course, what we mark happened less than 20 years later, when the British turned their eyes the other direction, because geopolitics meant to support the new Iraqi government and to allow killings of an entire people who had surrendered, children thrown up on the bayonets of rifles, unspeakable sexual assaults on the women, pregnant women being murdered, men who had laid down their arms and surrendered, killed. How can we lose this chapter? How can we let it not be told? How can we not speak words? And we think that we would come here only to write history, to go backwards and to claim that that way that that page is written must be turned. And yet we find ourselves here tonight not just marking history, we see people making history again. And we are called to either answer that or not, to say to our government in any administration that if you do nothing, that blood is on our collective hands. That right now, will we erase the memory of what the Middle East is, a cradle of so many civilizations. There are countries now where there's no longer any Jews in the Middle East, where they lived for millennia. Now we risk their countries having no Christians, where Christianity is from. When will this end? Will we stand up and do something and not just speak? Well, I'm proud in this city of angels, we don't have to parse words. We don't have to play politics. We don't have to find nice ways to say it. We don't have to say things symbolically. We can tonight call on the world to act. In the last concentration of Assyrians in their homelands, they are being driven out and killed as we speak. If we believe in human rights here, we have to believe in human rights there. And so to the Assyrian American Association of Southern California, when we come together for Martyrs' Day, let us come the next time not because there are any new martyrs being made, but because we are still trying to fix the old history. But in this moment, when we remember those who have come before me, the ancestors who bravely fought, many of them not making it themselves, but allowing it for you to be here, my family members who moved so that I could be here, in this place halfway around the world, let us truly make the city of angels mean something, and let us be the angels that save even one life, if not 100, if not 1,000. And let us stand up here, one last thing, to our own government, who would shut the doors of welcoming refugees. I don't care what your politics are, that is un-American. And here in the city of Los Angeles, we will say, yes, our doors are open, yes, this is a city of refuge. And we call on our government to do something to stop the killing. Thank you very much.
Just give another round of applause for Mayor Garcetti. He knows he has my vote. So now I will ask Wanya Benyamin to come up. He was the saxophonist who was entertaining you with the music before the program started. He will be playing a song today that has roots in the early 20th century from a very early Assyrian artist named Rasa. The name of the song is My Dear Assyrian Warrior, Juanqa Sogul Aturaya. Wanya and Basmaluch. Jean Alchas was a renowned Assyrian writer and poet whose masterpiece, The Tragedy of Bedi, eloquently conveys the agony of a 12-year-old daughter and her family fleeing the ancestral region of Urmia in present-day northwestern Iran as part of a mass exodus during the 1915 genocide. Jean also recounts a song called Cry for a Nation that our people could solemnly sing during the mass exodus where so many did not survive due to disease, starvation, and famine. To recite excerpts from each of those in the Assyrian language, I ask that the chair of the AASC's Arts and Literature Committee, Rabi Aturina Agha Khan, to come up to the stage, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. خاون تخيتلا قد تخرى يقرأون سهدو. بعد ما شنو قمادية خطيو بيقول من أمتن كد بسلابي بقطالة براكنا من أرمي. جان آخر كتراجدي بدري بقراش لخسرتا من ده هيكون خسوانا. بدري خبرات لبارتي استرشنه من أباهو براكنا. او دایا او شمون او خونا او لیا انی قالی یلودی یلتاتر تیم پگیان مریخه کلی رنبات قردمانا خخم او دال بریام وام کلی گیبانه مدرومیات گخشکت لیل تاموس بخوات و بجوابیاتت اواه انی دیو حاضر بی بابیتت اربی بی هرهمت سی سواته بی باربارتت دنیانه بیشتر و مخمردی که سوران مرزت ارخه گرتا امتنت کلاش ریخت کم خقیده بخید یاد سوره تنختت مرانه قبل تجیه و دربانه یهتت اواه آلیاله و یال آل اواه کل آخود و خربش کرهونه و بیشتر شمایه بیگو لجغاشه و داشویا و پاتو بیغدا که کرتا امورتا و کمتا کتامال مرزت ارخم یو خشکی پراما بدری بار تیسر شنه اقدا قیم تدکیپا قزود و من اجورت بار ناشوتت بخشه و لکلایا خریطا قنیان بارابانه هرچیم احمل ابشواق المرزانه ساو سایات قطیه مرانیات صبی حسلانیات خالیه من دی بیتویتا من خلطا قنیان شرشیه كل أعمل أبرخشوا لديت تلقيك لديت تلقيما كل يوم أبرخشوا كل ليل أبرخشوا جاهي جبن بيواروا جبن زميت بيواروا جاهي دلدل بيواروا كل خطقان أبرخشوا كل أودال أبرخشوا لخم هديان أبرخشوا لخاستندان أبرخشوا لجور رسول أبرخشوا لدان الصعد أبرخشوا لا تخمنت البيشاني لا تخمنت الموتاني خلي بسبيق برخشوا دخيل ديت برخشوا دجولة لسول برخشوا لخنيشة سبيا برخشوا دايم لقام برخشوا من كل ميتل قويرة من كل تشويق لنطيرة من كل بيش ألي مقطيرة من كل من دي بجشت خطيرة بشماية والبت ميرا شكلي زي بريمني زي روك زي لا أركل زي ودا هم أحق زيتاب أهل غشتاب أحشميتو رخشبا ببراخبا كفيني لغا شكتا داند مليت خط برده لديتت إيدا الغنيان الشويقي لا تركت دانا رخشبا سيي بميعجب وميدينا قمكليتت صاوي لكلايا رخشبا قلقلت الريشي قما بيختت خاصة قما نيكتت أقلي شمچوما باب أبرا كسيتت بخارا جل ماهود ريشايا سولد جلد ديمانا من جيبه خردوی و اکلت دادت گریبه ریشه گلیا تاکل صدر بخشبه لا ترتم تبخشبه لا تخمن تبخشبه لما بیزال قپرکتت پغره لا کلی انی جنجاره کلی انی زحمته کلی انی قیوندی نوسی قبوله و لما من انایوته بود خاطرت پغره سبب کل خچی مسواکیات دیوا این شمون قبل و پایش و قریا قاسم ومرت زينب هيج خافوز دايقة بغرنايا لما تبقاتي سبب كل خدش مسوى كياطيبا إن شمون قابل و پايش و قرية قاسم ومرت زينب هيج خافوز دايقة بغرنايا لما تبقاتي لما قبل خاطرت خيوتي خودت أني سهدت آتراي بساق و هاگا قلتا لا لما برشاكت پیشی و بزبقیم اطرابات پات ده دونی حوی و اسیر قطعی پریشی بود خاطرت خاصافت لخمه لا أنا برخشوا بيغدا أورخا تدري وبيغدا أورخا برخشوا كخاميت إيتوت الطايبة أنا ليه بجاني برخشة كانت بترايبة كانت خرز بيبة إيدات تشيت رخات السهد كانت تفخية لابوليبة مني أقبي ماردوتا بكلايبة ببخايبة بشديوتا بخياربة بخسايبة أخشيداني بقيامبة بكماتة والمطايا اليالي كلها بغدا روخا برخشوا كخاميت هيش لهوي خانمونا أطرايا خمیتت هیچ لحوی خانمونا آترایا پیوی خمیتت ایتوت دایپه و پیوی ناندارت بیشانه برخشبه که خودهاما خا زمرت اتنقد ایران تا دان دراک اکزمری بالا خامدین زمانیات و ماش مقامت اکزمری بالا اخیر دان تسوری خساونی قطع اکزمری بالا أنا خبرانة أبتني أنا خمشخرة تيبي هم زمان خبرانة ده زمرتها أبي غناكوش زنجري بلتياتن أبي نقيل ونقيش اللوخة لبن ريانا لا من شيخون سهدا ولا من شيخون أباهم مدخل بخاطر يندخل وليتت ملتن أغلاري بنونت ملت سيرتها ماري رديانا تمون زمرخ زمرتد ملت أوليتا يدوي خديانا كد يمات مكوخنا ببخاينا هاور كسلوخون أمان قطوخون يمدري للقالب بنوني آروكي دبخيمون قاتي هلون خبرال قريباي بربزي خجامياتي پشت يخسر بنوني قطيلة بناتي لبلة هاور كسلوخون أمان قطوخون و مارتوا پرشتد یما من یاله با پلگد لیله و مارتوا پرشتد یما من یاله با پلگد لیله واتن سوگل غدر تا المیدان دمه ماران ایکله رکلم شبتا سترب قرتا خاصان کرتا هاور کسلوخون امان قطوخون گنیلی یومت شیل شمشا شابیرا مال علمی سارا گنیلی یومت شیل شمشا شابیرا مال علمی سارا جبیلون آیوه چم خشکیانه بنا پیرا کمرون بارا پیشتن آجز ایک آزخ منی خازخ هاور کسلوخون امان قطوخون گوز مور بلبل سرده گورده لازدی من موتا گوز مور بلبل سرده گورده لازدی من موتا اخن ای وقت کلی حاضر اغمرده لخشولن صوتا اتلن هیوی کت خوی دب شمداخت کیوی اتلن هیوی کت خوی دب شمداخت کیوی هاور کسلوخون امان قطوخون ارتون بسیمی Thank you.
Mary Isaac قائلة President تجبرنت خویاد بتسوبه شتابوت Los Angeles پقدلخه. I will ask Mary Isaac, who's the Assyrian Students Association of Los Angeles, President of the Assyrian Students Association, to come on top.
Shalom Alochon. Hello. On behalf of the Assyrian Student Association of Los Angeles, I would like to thank you all for being here. This is a day when we remember our martyrs, those who gave their lives for their people and for their beliefs. However, I don't think that definition does our martyrs justice for the incredible sacrifice that they made for our nation. Can you think of the last time you sacrificed something for someone? It's difficult to imagine ever doing what our martyrs did, but in my reflection and my remembrance of their love for the thing greater than themselves, I am inspired deeply. That selflessness that they exhibited, that love for Christ and the Assyrian identity that they treasured, that is ultimately why I'm living and standing with you here today. With all of the sacrifice endured by the Assyrian nation, the genocides and persecutions that drove us into a diaspora, it's only imperative for all of us to stay informed and engaged. We cannot lose to apathy or indifference, as tempting as it may be sometimes. Fear and uncertainty have clouded the minds of many in our very own community, and it's only paralyzed us from moving on from our unfortunate history. Yet it is precisely at a time like this that we can no longer afford to hesitate in our endeavors to build up our voice and vision as a strong community. We've proven to the world that we will not surrender. Throughout everything, we have survived. With the awareness and understanding of our tumultuous history comes the responsibility for this generation and the next to rise above the darkness and continue the fight with greater resilience and optimism than ever before. We will not let our martyrs die in vain. Luckily, we are the generation of movers and shakers, of doers and optimists. These days, I find myself constantly surprised at what people are capable of achieving. So why should you and I and our community be any different? Given our vast history of overcoming and achievements, we are just as capable, if not even more, than everyone else. So my peers and I started the Assyrian Student Association to bring together the younger generation of students and working professionals to remind them this, that we are a proud and powerful community only when we are united. As our membership grows, I am gratified to see so many interested in our ultimate cause. In just 1 year, we've hosted a number of events, bringing in new faces and friends alike. We also had the honor of being invited to march alongside our Armenian and Greek brothers and sisters on April 24th in the March for Justice. However, our fight does not end with simply coming to these events. A commitment to a better future for the Assyrian nation requires dedication and passion every single day of our lives. I'm here to simply encourage you all to stand up for this community. Sefo 1915, the Semele Massacre of 1933, Chabur 2015. These are just some of the significant dates of our Assyrian history to remind us of our purpose. So let us wake up every day, proud of who we are, and remember the sacrifice it took to get us here. Let's take that gift of life and the responsibility that came with it to go the extra mile whenever we can, meaning this. Take a minute to be politically engaged and informed, and talk to your representatives. After all, they're right here, and they're willing to listen to you. Furthermore, never be shy to take every opportunity to identify yourself and properly educate those who mistake your identity and your history. Be the vessel in informing the world of what our community is facing today. Finally, never stop encouraging support for this community and advocating for your own. Because the truth is, if we're not fighting for us, then no one is fighting for us. Thank you.
my California State Assembly member. He is Armenian by descent, so we almost are brothers and sisters in kin. He has been elected since November 2012. I had the distinct pleasure of actually meeting Assemblymember Nazarian at the Assyrian New Year's, and I remember that he made a promise to me when the gas tax passed, he would do chikeh. He would do Assyrian dancing. This isn't the time and place, but it's coming. Would you please, a round of applause.
Thank you. And first and foremost, thank you for having me here on this solemn occasion and the remembrance. Second of all, thanks to all of you for keeping the memory alive. I was so touched and impressed by what Mary was saying in her points, talking points. It's wonderful having you in the office, first of all. Also, it's difficult to comprehend injustice of this magnitude and to go on living generation after generation seeking justice and saying it's going to come, but not knowing when, and probably at some point quivering a little bit over the hope that you lay on knowing that that justice is going to come. I know because my family's been through it as well. There are many disparate communities right here in San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles County that have experienced this in their grandparents, great-grandparents' generations. But what Mary said was exactly what I was going to talk about. You never stop, you never concede, you never give up, and you continue to push forward, even when you don't think something's going to happen. I have a bill right now that my co-author is sitting right here in front of me as well, Senator Scott Wilk, that will divest investments made in Turkish bonds by the state of California pension programs, both in CalPERS and CalSTRS. We got it out of the Assembly, it's on the Senate side, and I made it into a 2-year bill so that we can continue educating on the issue and not just have a few different organizations that are of Armenian backing or Greek or Assyrian backing putting in support letters, but have many Assyrian teachers, Armenian teachers, Greek teachers who are part of CalSTRS to push CalSTRS themselves and say, I don't want my pension dollars being invested in Turkey. That's the way to put things. It's not just the elected officials. You have to do your part as well. It doesn't stop with just me, or Paul Krikorian, or Senator Wilk. It continues with you. So, again, Mary, thank you for what you said, because I think that speaks very loudly. I'm honored to be here with you, and I will always stand with you, but please also join me. Don't just look. Politics and governance is not a spectator sport. It's an engagement sport. Be engaged and work with me. Thank you.
Now I'd like to ask State Senator Scott Wilk to come to the stage. And just a brief background, represents the 21st District of this great state of California, which includes Antelope, Santa Clarita, and Victor Valley.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I voted no on the gas tax, but I would have voted yes to watch you dance. Adrien, I think the last time you danced was at your wedding, so it's been a while. Anyway, again, it's my pleasure to be here tonight. I want to thank my friend Peter Warda for inviting me. And I may not look... Yeah, give Peter, yeah. His mom and his family's here, so you already know that. So you're looking at me and you're looking, okay, why is this white guy here? Well, I am a white guy, but I'm also one of the founding members of the Armenian Legislative Caucus. Yeah, thank you, Nora. And the story with that is, 4 years ago, we were on a delegation tour of Armenia. Assemblymember Nazarian was there, Councilman Krikorian, and others. And I was standing with the Speaker of the State Assembly at the time, John Perez, and I said, and my wife, by the way, her name is Vanush Safoyan, so there's the connection. I'm a Pesam, I'm a son-in-law. So anyway, so I talked to the Speaker, and I said, I really felt moved to start a caucus. And he said, well, we have a problem, because under the rules of the House, it takes 3. And I see Nazarian, I see Achajian, your name ain't Wilkian. However, there was an Armenian priest there at Dead Hide, so I went to the Dead Hide. What do I need to do to become Armenian? And he said, get christened in the Armenian Apostolic Church. So I came back to America, went down to Rancho Mirage to my mother-in-law's church, and got christened in the Armenian Apostolic Church. So you may call me Senator Scott Wilkian. And I really love your theme tonight because we need to do both. You know, we have to remember those who have passed, and I've got stories I could share from my wife's family. And one of the most moving times in my life was 2 years ago, standing and walking with 130,000 people in acknowledgement of the 100th anniversary of the Armenian genocide. And the pain was palpable in the air. And we can't allow this to happen ever again to anybody. So we need to do that, but we also need to, press on and be empowered by our future. So I am working on the principal co-author of the divestment bill. Would love to have you join the fight for that. It will not be easy, but we can do it. Another thing I'd love to do with the community is, I don't recall in my 5 years in the state legislature having your own resolution acknowledging what happened and talking about the things that are happening today, because we have things happening today in the Middle East. So I'd love to partner with the American Assyrian Association to do that, and I will work with you guys after that. But again, I thank you for coming out. It's about community first, working together. We will get this acknowledged by Turkey, and we will make sure that this never happens to another people group ever again. Thank you for your time.
So now we're going to queue up 2 video messages for 2 members of Congress who regrettably could not be here, but I want to give an introduction to both before we cue the videos up, so hold up on the video. So Representative Adam Schiff, or Congressman Adam Schiff, represents California's 28th Congressional District, and throughout his tenure in Congress is focused on growing the economy, bolstering national security, strengthening our communities, helping small businesses, and improving education, safety, and health care for our children. In his 9th term in the House of Representatives, Schiff currently serves as the ranking member or top Democrat of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and as a member of the Benghazi Select Committee. We also have a video message from Congressman Brad Sherman, who I've had the pleasure of also chatting a lot about politics with. Congressman Brad Sherman from Sherman Oaks was born and raised in Southern California. He is a senior member of the Housing Foreign Affairs Committee and serves as the ranking Democrat on the Subcommittee on Asia and the second ranking Democrat on the Subcommittee on Europe and Eurasia. If we could cue the videos up, please.